love the homegrown sounds, and this one does all the right things. It presses all the correct buttons, and it is a song called Topisi. It comes through from a gentleman who calls himself Jenheimer. I love the song, and so I turn it up at every single opportunity. It's all about finding those opportunities. I think that is one of the biggest key points of entrepreneurship, and I think my guest has done this to the T. All right, I don't even want to try and introduce him aside to just let you know that he is the founder and MD of a company that's called MobiRides. He's got quite a colorful background and portfolio, but I think I'll allow him to share it himself. He goes by the name Modisa Maphanyane, and that is who I have in studio. A very good evening to you. Welcome to Gabs FM.
Guess who's back? Back again. Tell a friend. Hey, hello, Kathy.
Are you well? Are you good?
I'm very good. I want to say hello to you, to our listeners, to my family, my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, my
Don't forget the dogs and the cats.
The cat.
Yes.
Yeah, all of the above. Yeah, thank you very much for that intro. Village chic. Is it village chic?
Yeah, village chic with chic. No, we're going to cut out the village.
Chic. Village chic with chic.
Yes.
Hey, our night in Dolce Gabbana. Yes.
We're going to cut it.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit about myself. For our listeners who maybe are hearing me for the first time, my name is Modisa Maphanyane. Ngwana wa ntha wa ga re Mothabane Maphanyane and me Diana Tutsi Maphanyane, grandson of Clement Oliphant and me Kate Nozilane Oliphant. My grandmother's middle name always trips me up. Okay. Also grandson of Re Modisa Maphanyane and Metebo Maphanyane Kosorowe. Yeah, nice.
Same.
There you go. You see. I'm a 7-time previous founder, lifelong entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 13, selling sweets and yogi sips and things in the boarding house.
Wow.
I've got 7 previous ventures under my belt. I'm currently now on number 8.
Nice.
I've got 18 years in these streets, while also having worked in various corporate roles intermittently in the little gaps in between. But I've been an entrepreneur and had a desire to be a serial entrepreneur, even from before I knew what that meant. I've had a series of let's call it R&D, research and development failures in multiple countries in the region, including Botswana, South Africa, Mozambique, and a very feeble attempt to get into Zimbabwe market. All of those things have led and condensed and distilled into what is making my current venture unique, and I think something that I'm hoping is going to be transformative for a lot of people, including myself. Yeah.
So you've said something that I want to actually start the conversation off with, because I think that was the why. Because I always like to understand, when you came up with this, what were you thinking about? Like, what motivated you? So instead of putting it that way, I want to just say that you said this venture was born out of quote unquote regional R&D, right? You mentioned the different countries, Mozambique, South Africa, Namibia, and so forth. So what is it that made you then decide MobiRides was the way to go? How did you come up with that concept? Why did you come up with that concept?
Okay, right from the bat, right from the jump off, I'd say my first really formal venture and enterprise was trying to bring value and add value and bring in innovation in the informal market. At that time, it was a company called Mass Promotions, which was dealing with transit advertising. We're actually the guys who brought the current format that is being used for advertising on the buses and the combis. That was developed by me largely. Okay. So the ambition has always been, throughout my career, throughout my life, has always been how do I bring innovation and transformation into people's lives, and how do I help people make money, overall? Because at the end of the day, I think income and access to cash flow and the ability to build assets and an asset base, that's what transforms lives and communities and societies. Wealth creation.
Yeah.
So that's really what has been distilled into MobiRides. MobiRides, we're trying to leverage technology to be able to create wealth and opportunity and transformation For Botswana, for our families, our communities, but also for our region, the SADC region, and then ultimately the hope is also for the continent. Um, um, by really trying to address. And MobiRides operates in the informal market. I don't know. Maybe I should say what MobiRides
Yeah,
is.
no, that's the
Okay.
next
Yeah.
part where I
Before
get
we go
to
far,
get the listener to
Yeah.
understand what MobiRides is
Yeah.
and how it works.
Yes.
That's the part that
100%.
excites me.
Yes. Okay. So MobiRides is what we call a peer-to-peer car rental marketplace or car sharing platform. We say peer-to-peer, and then and I've been in a number of incubators, and they always say, "Mister, please, just plain language that people can understand."
Yeah.
All we're saying is that person to person. So we're saying that, Kathy, you have a car. Your car is not used much. You come here, you get to radio, and your car is going to be sitting for the rest of the day, or you've got a second car at home, or you're a two-car household, and then you can use one car and have another car do what? Generate income for you. Okay, how does it generate income for you? You rent that car out to other people who have personal mobility requirements. There's things they want to do. They babatla hwa lenyalong, babatla hwa pitlong, ho na le bo magadi, the uncles need transport. You have an event, you have some kind of conference, o batla hwa morakeng, you want to move some things around, you want to cross border to South Africa and take the hubby or the babies out somewhere. We want those people to be able to, in just as simple as, I like to give the example as or equate it to this, maybe something that people can understand. MobiRides is like an in-drive where the driver arrives, and I'm talking to my brother here specifically. The driver arrives and hands you the keys to the car, and then he goes, and you've got the car, and you go where you need to go, and then the following day or 2 days later or 3 or a month later, whatever it might be, he comes back, picks up the car. That is what MobiRides is in a nutshell. We want people to be able to have the opportunity. In my life, having a vehicle and access to a vehicle has transformed my life. Every business venture I've ever tried to do, I needed to have a car. Yeah. So for that's the renter side. But then as a host, someone who has the car, you immediately, another thing we always say to people, why do you pawn your car? Why pawn your car? For January right now, people are pawning their cars. Don't pawn your car. Put
Bring
your
it
car on a
to
platform like
MobiRides,
MobiRides, and that car is going to pay you
let it
money
make you
and
money.
pay back, make you money. Okay. We tell people that on average, if you've got a car installment with the bank and you are in default, rent out your car for 5 days, 5 days in a month, and you will pay your installment. So those are the kind of opportunities that we're trying to unlock for people with this platform. We're a new platform. We've only been in existence formally set up this year. Last year in January.
Last year,
January.
So you've been operating 2025.
We've been operating in a trial version for 2025 for a year now, building up the platform and the technology. Because above all things, we want the technology to be able to assist and scale a large number of people. Okay. Very quickly, very efficiently, and with an experience that is very different from maybe to some of the things that we're used to. On average, we want someone to be able to go from I need a car to I have a car arriving within 30 minutes, and that whole process to be seamless like that. So that really requires a great degree of technology that we think we can build, that we are building. Okay. And we're trying to do that as a way of also proving a concept. We're trying to prove a concept that Botswana, a completely Botswana-owned team. Our team is fully Botswana. The company is fully Botswana-owned. We have an average age of at the team. I'm the old gun in the team. The average age of our team is about 23 years old. Okay, so we have a team of very dedicated, committed young Botswana. We want to prove that a team of dedicated, committed young Botswana can build a successful company, tech company, and scale it into other countries. Okay, and be on the level of any one of other Pan-African tech startups, any tech startup out of South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever it might be. We have the talent, and we're trying to give an avenue for that talent to shine, while, like I said, empowering people and giving them accessible transportation and mobility, while making money at the same time. That's the idea. I don't know if I said too much.
I think you've said a lot, but
Yeah.
I it's interesting because you now just said it's like the in driver, somebody comes and gives you the keys. And I remember when you first told me about it, you said it's like, think of Airbnb but for cars,
Yeah.
right? And I just, the different ways that you are describing this really has me excited, because again, it's about, like you're saying, you've got a car that's kind of not doing anything, let it come and make you money.
Yeah.
See, this is could be a way that you could actually get your installment paid. Maybe you could decide, you know what, every month for the first, half or the second half of the month, I'm just going to loan this car out, and 1 2 3, see how that helps make money for you. Now, I want to talk some of the challenges, because I want to believe, and I'm going to add that, or rather ask you two questions to say there were some challenges, obviously, that you met, and you say you see them as advantages. I want you to elaborate a little bit on that. And then I'd like us to talk about how you have gone ahead and raised capital. So I'll get you to touch base on that. But I want to just remind the listener that anytime I have a guest in studio, they're not just for me to have fun and, ask all the questions I like, but for you as well to take part in the conversation. And you can do so by calling the number 3956962. You can go ahead and send a WhatsApp on the number very similar to that. It is +267 3956962. And remember, you are always able to catch this conversation. If you are just tuning in, you can catch the first bit of it on our Gabs FM Facebook page. We are also on DSTV on channel 844. All right. This is Crunch Time. You're hanging out with the Village Chick with Plenty. But I said the 2026 remix is The Chick with Chic. Full stop. Village. I think I should just stop. No, I should just stop, because I've had too many people grill me about it. I'm like, but I stay at home in the village. That's my favorite. Yeah, another conversation for another day. We continue this one. Modisa, I've just asked you this, and I'd like you to, whichever direction. Two questions that go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the first one again?
The challenges that you met, and how you've, in fact, not just overcome, that you have turned around and said, look, I even view these as advantages.
Okay, so
the small market being one of them.
First thing I'm gonna jump on is that the small market, we have a small market in Botswana. That's typically described as a massive failure point, a massive reason why
a huge
Botswana,
disadvantage,
a huge disadvantage, a huge problem, why Botswana companies can't succeed. I dispute that in a way, and like I said, I'm trying to prove the basis of that dispute. So I don't want to just talk theory. I believe in the practical application. The thing that turned my mind and my thinking about our market was a previous startup where we were in the airtime and prepaid distribution game. And we were able to use Botswana as a test market, to test out different ways, different models, business models of fulfilling requests in this market. And off the basis of what we were doing in this market, we had people come from outside and say, please come and do that here in bigger markets. So South Africa and Mozambique. So we were able to use Botswana to prove that these things we can do that people aren't doing out there in those bigger markets the way we're doing them. Botswana being small means we're all sort of everything. If you can get things to work in
use us as a demo, basically.
You use Botswana as a demo.
Yeah,
you tell
so
people.
the small to micro and medium enterprise is perfectly based in Botswana. And you start it off, you get your model working, you iron out all the kinks, you perfect everything. And then, because also now where we are located,
we are what we call land linked.
Right.
So we're surrounded by all these countries.
We're
in the center of these countries. We've got Namibia, Kaha, Zimbabwe, Kaha, Angola.
South
People
Africa,
think Angola is like in the middle of Africa. Angola is just
right next door.
You understand? It's right next door. We've got
Zambia
Zambia here. We've got South Africa here.
Mozambique,
we've got Lesotho escape away.
Swaziland,
Mozambique escape away. So we have the opportunity in Botswana. I tell people again, when I'm on international platforms, I say to them that Botswana is going to be the Silicon Valley of Africa. That is something I'm going to put. I will stand on business on that one. And we are trying to, in our own way, be part of that movement without having to say, oh, government needs to do this or government needs to do that. We, the entrepreneurs and people in the tech platform and all of the talent we have, the human resource and potential that we have in this country, we've got all the things we need. We have graduates. And that's another thing. There's this challenge that's put out there. We've got graduates can't find jobs. We've got so many graduates. That means that we are a pool, a resource that needs to be put out there for companies and entities out there that are interested in Southern African market to be able to capitalize on. So we're trying to give a platform also just to our talent, to put it there in the eye line of all of these companies that are remote working companies, software companies, manufacturing companies, insurance companies, finance companies, whatever it might be, Chinese car dealerships, that are trying to enter into this regional market. That Botswana is your place and Botswana are your people.
Okay, so I love that. And I think that's really a mindset and just how to shift your mindset. I am going to get you back in studio at some point, Modisa, and at that point, we will just be talking or just getting you to share the tips of what you've learned. Like you said, this is the 8th enterprise that you are getting into. So I do believe that you've got a wealth of knowledge under your belt, and I'd like you to share it with my listener. But let's move on to the issue of raising capital. That's almost always a huge challenge. I want to know how you came about it, or how you had to, think around about it.
Okay, so I've raised capital in different ways throughout my career and in previous ventures. This one I decided to do it differently, and I sometimes regret it every day, but that's what it is. Because there is a school of thought. There's something that's called the lean startup framework. Okay, and this is a method and a way of doing business that has been proven in other markets outside. And Botswana, we are not any different from any other country because we have the people, that can do anything that anyone else can do. Previously, I've raised capital from CEDA. I've previously raised loans from FNB. I've previously raised loans through, or not loans, raised investment capital through what they call crowdfunding. So I've done all I've raised capital from getting tenders and orders and purchase order financing. So this time we decided that we're going to do something that's called bootstrapping. And with bootstrapping, what it is that before you even register a company, before you even do anything, you don't spend money you don't have. Okay, so first you go and you find the money. First you go and you validate, what we call validate, the concept, the idea. We have a business idea. Okay, let's go and talk to a lot of people. Let's go and talk to people that we think would be customers of ours. Let's go to people that we think would support this business. Let's find them wherever they are, whatever platform they're in, and let's see if we can get them to agree and be willing to support us. Okay, so we registered the company, like I said, last year, January. But before that, before we even registered the company, we already had 3 clients. Okay. How did we do that?
I want to say when, how.
Yeah. One of them was the Australian ambassador to Botswana.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Because that's it. We validated the concept further with technology startups, but even with any businesses, there's all of these international platforms and incubators and accelerators, business development kind of centers that can assist you remotely. That can provide you with training. So even though I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, I'll say that hands down. I've got the scars to prove it. I've got the track record to prove it. Things like I said, it's been there. Many of them have had great degree of success, but are then all ultimately crashed and burned. So clearly there's stuff that I still need to learn. So I went in there with that framework. But we went into these things and these people gave us the platform. We were in the Boost Up Innovation Hub Boost Up competition 2024. We won 3rd place nationally.
Nice.
Okay, we won 5th place in the region.
This is the one that's facilitated by Mascom,
This
right?
is the one you see. It's said by you, not me. That was even before we had entered the market.
Yeah.
So just to get an idea of, okay, guys, is our thinking correct?
Yeah.
Do we have a product here? Do we have a service? Do we have a company that we can build? Then we went and looked for customers to agree with what these guys say, that this is a great idea. And the customer said, okay, we got the first customer, second customer, third customer. That means, okay, now we can actually go and actually register a business. Now we can actually go and look for a little office. Now we can actually get someone to come in and then say, okay, we are looking for volunteers. We are looking for interns. We're looking for people who can help us build this, but then can also learn from this opportunity. So
this is all part of being lean.
This is all part of being lean, and this is what's all called part of being bootstrapped. It doesn't work for every kind of company. There's companies and entities that need capital before they can even operate. But one of my Nigerian advisors says, because we've even gone out to go look for advisors as far as Nigeria, they say the best customer or the best capital to use is your customer's capital or your customer's money.
Wow.
That's what they say. They live by that principle, you know. So they say, go find a customer to give you money. Then once you've done that, give that customer what they asked for. However you do it, then go find more customers to do that. Okay. So once you've done that, you've got a leg to stand on to be able to go to people and say, listen, I've got this thing and it looks like it can do really good things. It looks like it can work.
I want to pause you there. I've got a call coming in, and I've got a message that's come through. Let's take this call. Please put your headphones on. Good evening. You're on Gabs FM. Hi.
Hi, ke Rapula Keti.
Hi, Rapula.
Hi, Raps. How's it?
Ke tumetse ka teng o buang ka teng. Ke batla go botsa potso e one hell.
I want to
Since the time o simolola kgwebo ya gago till now, wena wa achieving re batla hela small synopsis o re bolele. Ya bobedi, what is the Minister of Finance and the ministers that are in charge of trade and economics? What are they doing wrong? Gore kgwebo ya rona ya lehatshe la Botswana gore e tswele di se simolola go gola mathata a kae o e tlhatlobe go le go nyenyane. Thank you, Tat.
Thanks, Rapula.
Okay, Ntata Raps. Okay. Okay. What have we achieved? Okay. I made the mention that we've been in trial. We call it that because we are only going to be officially launching in February of this year. That's going to be our official launch. But among the things we've achieved, we've through this last year, we've done about 240 bookings, car rental bookings. We have about 90 vehicles now on the platform from different fleet owners who are already in the business of private car rentals. We've dispersed about 365,000 pula in terms of revenue to these particular individuals. And that's just a small scale because that's us trying to prove the model, okay, and that the model works. We have a team of 10, but we've also provided internships and attachments for about 15. So we've trained about 15 employees. So we're actually doing job creation. We've entered a number of international platforms, UPG, Biashra, which is a Swiss-based platform, to try and elevate the profile of Botswana. Diverse Labs Incubator in Nigeria, which is where I got in contact with the Nigerian founders. We have MOU signed. Some of them are a very interesting one is a South African company called Carlworth Aviation. Carlworth Aviation is trying to do what's called passenger drones. So 6-seater drones, which will allow for flights between Joburg and Gaborone on demand. So not scheduled like an Uber. That will take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to Francistown, another 15 minutes to Maung. So we've signed that MOU or expression of interest, let's call it that, because they'd like to see us grow and scale to a certain point before we are able to facilitate those engagements with Civil Aviation Board. We've had approaches from electric car manufacturers and electric supercharging infrastructure providers that are looking at Botswana and saying, okay, we'd like to be part of Botswana's transition to green mobility. So there's a lot that we've done in a really short space of time, but there's a lot more that we still need to do. Our target is to, within 7 years, be generating about 245 million pula per year for Botswana household income. Okay, now the second question. Yeah, that one is Mister. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm not a policy analyst. Rabs. But I will say, there's a lot of things. The problems that we have as an economy in Botswana, they didn't start yesterday. We've gone on about a 25-year trajectory that's brought us to this point. So the answers and the solutions are not going to come overnight because you can't create a problem over 25 years. It's like gaining weight over 25 years. You're not going to lose that weight in 2 weeks. There's a lot of really hard things you're going to need to do. You're going to need a lot of discipline. You're going to need a lot of focus. Okay, you're going to need a lot of process. You're going to need a lot of leveraging the thing that I mentioned, the best human capital that is available. Okay, and then if you're going to transform, you need to have a transformation agenda, and you need to have and capacitate people who already have transformation in their blood and innovation in their blood. Those are the people that we need to find. Those are the diamonds that we need, not the diamonds. We need the diamonds sailing Botswana, Botswana. Those are the ones we need and we need them to lead this transformation for us. So that's the key. I think our policymakers and our stakeholders in government and the public service, they need to really double down on giving our talent a platform and the support they need.
Okay, I think I am going to get you back in studio, and at that point, I will just be getting you to share nuggets and tips, insight from your entrepreneurial journey. And I think I am going to grill you a little bit more, because I think Raps, I get where he's coming from. I think that conversation I do want to have. But today I want to focus on MobiRides, because I think you've got a great offering that you've put on the table. And so I want to actually just find out. Somebody's actually asked the question that pretty much is in line with this next one, to say, how have you, in a way, structured the informal sector, right? We're very passionate about the informal sector on Crunch Time. But this next person says, where does insurance come into play? Because if I'm going to come and give someone else my car, I want to know that, there's insurance involved. I will be protected should anything go wrong.
Okay. So again, now it brings us to why we're at the trial stage. And now only now going into official launch. So we already have a market of about a 300 million pula market, which is the private car rentals market. That's dominated, of course, by the traditional guys, Avis, Budget, Hertz. But there's about that, they only account for about 150 million pula per annum. There's about a 200 million pula informal market in Botswana, which is private car rentals. That is an existing market. We didn't invent that market. We found that market.
Yes.
We've studied that market. And now we're trying to work with that market. And then we're trying to democratize that market and make it accessible to everyone. Insurance is fundamentally a core of that. Okay, we have a partner right now that is a cloud-based partner that provides cloud-based mechanic services and repair services. Okay, that is different from insurance. But what that partner provides us is the ability now to offer what's called a damage liability waiver, where we're able to, in cases of damage to vehicles, we're able to use the services of that partner to provide those repair services. So it's different from insurance. Insurance says, bring us quotations, and then we're going to pay after assessment and evaluation. We're going to pay for your car to be repaired or your car to be replaced. We don't have that yet. We're looking for an insurance partner. We've been in discussions and are still having ongoing discussions in the lead up to our launch to have what's called an insurance underwriter that can underwrite this damage liability waiver, because of course, as you can be aware, there'll be damage that can be 5,000, 20,000, 50,000, and then there's a write-off. Okay. We need the underwriter to be able to facilitate us in instances of extreme write-off. Okay. But as it is, we have that damage liability waiver. We provide that services. We've had 240 trips to date. We've only had 2 incidents, and those were related to windscreen damage. And that's a small repair as well within our hands. So one of the things that we do is that on our platform, MobiRides.com, we do secure verification. So we verify all renters. We've got traceability that already comes and tracking with the platform and the app. And then we monitor. And then we do ratings. So similar, if you've used InDrive, InDrive, when it first launched in the market, there was a lot of issues. The ratings very quickly eliminated problematic users as well as problematic drivers. And we're using a very similar system. So trust and transparency are very, very key for us. Those are the kinds of things that you have to be able to trust us with your vehicle. We have to be able to show you and demonstrate to you that you can trust us with your vehicle. So typically newly onboarded hosts, we only provide rentals, their vehicles to rent in the local being Gaborone and surrounding, or Franstown and surrounding. And then we only give them and we only allow them to be accessed by renters who already have a very good rating and a very good track record. And that's how we build this kind of trust and transparency. And then the comfort of the host, we call them hosts, people who are providing their vehicles, they come with that comfort, then they get comfortable with things like extended rentals out of Gaborone or out of zone. And then of course the final one, then cross-border. It's not for everyone. But we facilitate and advise on all of those things. One of the really cool things, I think, with our platform is that it provides full fleet management. You get to see everything, where your car is, what your car's doing, how much it's done, how much money it's made, is it worth it? Yeah, so I don't know if I answered that question, but we're definitely looking for further before our launch by end of February. We hope to have fully onboarded at least 2 underwriters, in addition to our cloud-based repair service provider. Yeah.
I love this. And I think that perfectly brings me to the next question of opportunities available and also just benefits to the public. I think you've touched on this to say it works for everyone. If you need to, have a cuff or you need mobility for a couple of days, this is the great way to go about doing it. And then if you have, like if you have a car lying around that it is not really doing anything, this is a great way for you to make a bit more money with it. I want to talk about some of the opportunities that are available, some of the benefits that this will give to the public, and then let's talk the path going forward and how you're planning on scaling up. You've mentioned this a little bit to say you're planning on in the next 5 to 7 years have 245 million pula per year income. That is huge because I believe in Botswana we currently have a household debt that is at about 60 million the last time I checked, and that was like mid last year. So I'm not sure what the current figures are right now, but saying that, look, I am specifically trying to do something that's going to put money into households in Botswana. I think every single one of us want to, open our ears and listen closely to you.
So a very well-known fact, or if it's not known, I think it should be, is that we are one of the most unequal economies and societies in the world. I believe that if platforms like ours are there to distribute the wealth. Right now, the biggest problem we have is that there is money in this country that has sort of gotten stuck somewhere. We don't know where, but there is a lot of money that has gotten stuck somewhere and has never reached the rest of us. I believe that things like tourism revenue comes in and or doesn't even come in. It gets stuck somewhere. We don't even see it. Diamond revenue has built the country, but most of us, on a day-to-day basis, it's like, okay, what have you done for me lately? A technology platform like ours really begins to move the money around differently. Okay, we have this platform is an opportunity for auto dealerships, for instance, second-hand car dealerships. It's an opportunity for micro lenders and financiers. We have a program that's called Rent to Buy that we're going to be rolling out. Rent to Buy is it's an existing market. It already exists, but we want to bring the structures and processes that allows it to work efficiently and for the benefit of everyone. The people who want to invest and generate a return on the money they already have, whether it's loans or their savings, and the people who are trying to, for instance, get into the ride hailing with Yango in the InDrives. Excuse me for mentioning them so much, but those are examples of tech platforms that are really scaled in this country, and that are already impacting lives. So we see ourselves as on that level of being able to provide accessibility, but in a different way. We want people to be able to grow with this. We want existing fleet owners to be able to go along with us into entering our next market, which is Zambia, as an example. We want people who have 1 car and 2 car to be able to then start getting into a fleet. And then next thing, you've got some trucks and you've got some buses and you're catering again for the region, So those are the kind of opportunities that we're trying to unlock on a national level as well as a regional level, for our society. So we really want people to join this movement. We want people to join this movement. We want existing car rental companies. We're not that competition. We've said it before. We're working right now with existing car rental companies. We provide a platform that allows them accessibility to those damage and repair waivers and assistance, those financing products that allow them to refleet and bring cars into their fleet, those vehicle tracking partnerships, that platform, those marketing kind of platforms and partnerships that put them out and give them that visibility, as well as this full fleet management, so that their vehicles are always in a decent state to be driven by people. So those are the things, the elements of our movement that we really want people to be able to support. And happy about this, how brothers they want to have. So we want to support the Botswana as much as possible, and we want to make Botswana shine. I'm doing quite a bit of that. I think I can safely say that. If you go to my LinkedIn, Modisa Maphanyane, just search me. You'll see my LinkedIn. You'll see the kind of reach that I've been able to generate. And we are going to be doing more of that and really putting the whole country on a different kind of platform. Okay.
They say time flies when you're having fun. That's what's happened. So we've got about 2 minutes before we need to call it a day and wrap up our conversation. I'm going to ask you for your final thoughts. And before I do, just get you to share with the listener how they can take part. How can someone have access to mobility through MobiRides? How can someone have access to a bit of extra income by, loaning this car out to MobiRides? Where do they go? How do they go about it?
Okay. So definitely, please check us out. We're online. We're available. You can find out everything you need to know about MobiRides by going to www.mobirides.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can search MobiRides on Facebook.
How's it spelled, by the way?
MobiRides, MobiRides.com. You can search MobiRides on LinkedIn. Please, there's us and then there's the guys in India. Please look for the MobiRides that's in Botswana.
I did experience that when I was tagging you earlier. I was like, what base? Where? Oh, no.
Okay, so please look for us. Facebook, MobiRides as well. Please do check us out. Our TikTok is not yet fully active. I'm a bit out of the generation.
Same.
So my young team is working on that. Guys, please be patient with us. But yeah, that's where you can find us. We are not yet in the App Store. We will be in the App Store as of February. Like I said, we have been very intentional about making sure that we do things that work and that can be trusted and can be very transparent. So the app is not yet in the App Store, but we have the web app is up and running. You can access it, like I said, through MobiRides.com. You can contact me. My number is always available. My WhatsApp number, 743-00747. 743-00747. You shoot me a WhatsApp. If I'm busy, I'll hand you over to a team member. Any queries you have, I'll try to answer. And then before we go, I'd like to give a huge shout out, definitely, please, if you'll allow me, to the Botswana Digital Innovation Hub. Those guys have been in our corner. They've been supporting us, through right from, like I said, with the win with the Boost Up in 2024. They've been engaged with us, and please, our stakeholders and principals, please give the Innovation Hub more support. They will unleash and unearth these diamonds that can create a transformation in our country. Okay, whether it's healthcare, education, all those solutions are there, sitting at Innovation Hub right now. Transportation, energy, you name it. Some of the things that are there and the intelligence that we have from Banaba Botswana is just incredible. So please go there and support Innovation Hub, and they will support entrepreneurs and innovators like me.
I love it. Modisa, we're out of time. How do you've already shared your numbers. Please share your LinkedIn page again. I am going to get you back here again. I will now be speaking to you as an entrepreneur and then just picking your brain and allowing questions like the one that Rapula asked to say, look, what have you learned in your time? I want to know things like, how do you know when to call it quits? You said a lot of your ventures, were doing awesome at some point, then they crashed and burned. After something like that, you have the insight to say, at this point I could have done this differently. And I believe once you learn from these mistakes, you will never make them again. So I'll be wanting you to
you'll
share.
make them again. You'll make them again.
No, I refuse.
Again.
Tell me how people find you. And
Okay. No, please check me out on LinkedIn. I'm a great believer, another huge believer in LinkedIn. I tell people your network is your net worth.
Yes,
that phrase is so true.
Yeah.
The number of opportunities, all my opportunities, even for this business, all of the things I mentioned, these platforms, is because of LinkedIn. Even our first 150 customers that registered on the platform, it was through LinkedIn.
Wow.
Facebook is good, but hey,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn is for professionals who are looking for professional solutions. So I highly recommend. So check me out on LinkedIn, and then my number is again 743-00747. I will not always answer, but if you send WhatsApp messages, I will respond or get someone to respond to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Modisa, thank you so much for your time. I will see you soon. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, very chic.
That's how I close off this episode of Crunch Time. I'm back every Wednesday from 6 to 7. We talk all things business. On Sundays, I'm here on a show called Warm and Fuzzy, where we're talking healing, we're talking about motivation, and of course, we have a bit of humor and laughter in the last hour. And then every Tuesday evening, I'm here again on a show called The Purple Playroom, where we talk all things sex. We're talking sex education. Yes, it's quite a diverse portfolio. I basically like to talk, and so I found different platforms to have different kinds of conversations. buttons. Those are the ways that you can find me right here on Gabs FM. Otherwise, I also have a podcast that I do. It's called Moving Humanity Forward Podcast. You find it on LinkedIn, on TikTok, as well as on YouTube. On Facebook, it's MHF Podcast. Otherwise, myself, right, across all social media platforms, if you just type Kathy Malajani, you will be able to find me there. Still playing around with this village. No, I want to get rid of the village. Like, somebody grilled me about, why do you call yourself a village? I'm like, I am a village chick.
There's nothing wrong with the village.
Yeah, no,
this
this person actually disqualified me from being a village chick. I think I lost that argument and that debate. And then I've decided I don't want to know Setswana anymore. Okay, I quit knowing Setswana. I quit. And then if I do speak it, I'm going to speak it with Gore. It's not Ramotwa, it's Ramutswa. Okay, I come from Ramutswa.
Is it again?
But otherwise, Podiso is here. Podiso, right? It'll be Podiso. Yeah, okay. Not Podiso. Podiso. Yes. Modisa Maphanyane. My surname needs to be Kathy Mail Jane. Like, let's not, yeah.
Maphanyane.
You know?
Maphanyane. Yeah, okay.
Yes. I should just get you to help me brainstorm this and see what I'm doing for 2026. Yeah, Purple Nights comes through next. Podisoga joins you all the way till 10 o'clock. He's here every single Monday up until Thursday. You want to be here. You want to be on your number one station. It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. See you soon.
Happy New Year. Gabs FM.